Ducklings, welcome back everyone, welcome back to the grand finals of Cheeseadelphia Summer LAN. Of course, the best of 7 is finally upon us. It's been a long event here tonight. We went through the group stage, went through the playoff bracket as well. It has been 9 hours, just under 9 hours here covering Cheeseadelphia, and we're still not done. We still have one series left, the grand finals, to crown our Cheeseadelphia champion. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our American Protoss player, the yellow Protoss representing Root Gaming. It is Rob. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the American Terran player, the blue Terran himself, one of our own, one of the Cranky Ducklings. It is Dolan. And if you are in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think is going to be our champion. Who will it be? Will it be our Terran or our Protoss? Dolan or Rob? The Duck or the Root? Let's go. Let us go. Again, I'm a little bit surprised here. Rob, he popped off. We mentioned before, at least I mentioned before, that I was favoring Epic to go for a deeper run. I was looking forward to seeing like an Epic versus Dolan finals, but no, Epic was denied that finals run. Rob popped off in a very NA way. He cheesed the hell out of Epic with proxy Void Ray. It was wild, it was crazy. He got out of control. And we'll see if we see that again here in this series against Dolan. I'm sure we will at some point. I'm sure we will. For now, going to be a double gas opener. Double gas here from Dolan, going for a faster factory follow-up. Meanwhile, Rob back at home, going for a gate expand economic opener here out of Rob. A little bit greedier, actually, going for the expansion before the cyber core. So Rob cutting some corners. Meanwhile, back at home, Dolan opening up with that factory. And we'll see what we kind of embrace here. Now, when it comes to Dolan's playstyle, when it comes to his builds, today we have seen a lot of fast tank production. We've seen a lot of like pseudo, I wouldn't say one base all in necessarily, but you know, fast factory into tech lab into tank into a double tank drop for a very committed, very aggressive push, especially on some of these smaller maps. I'm curious if we head in that direction this time, or if we embrace something a little more standard like Reaper Hellion or a Woodermine drop. We'll see where Dolan takes us, as Rob is scouting. I don't blame him. Rob, he is scouting them out with both probes, but oh my god, a big reaction here out of Rob. He's terrified. He's looking for proxies and there's nothing. Rob is expanding. Sorry, Dolan's expanding. Rob, he's in his own head a little bit here. This is a little bit inefficient because that's two probes, that's two workers that are not mining resources, that are out looking for something that doesn't exist. But at least we're able to have the peace of mind of knowing that I guess there is nothing on the map. Behind this, Rob opening up Robo. Okay, very safe play out of Rob. With a Robo opener, we can go one of two ways with this. We can go into early Immortal production. This can lead into early Colossus as well. You can be aggressive with a Warp Prism first, but for the most part, this is ideal against something like a one base all-in, or just two base aggression. If Rob felt unsafe, if he felt concerned of Dolan, then early Immortals would shut down any kind of early push. So just really safe play here out of Rob. I say safe. The downside of this build is, as opposed to a Stargate or Twilight Council opener, you are lacking Blink Stalkers and Phoenixes to shut down drop play and to gain map control and to head into the mid game. So a much more defensive style here out of Rob. Much more defensive. We have the initial Observer. Hellions move out. It was initially Hellion Reaper. And we're trying to race past the army, but alas, we are in position. The army gets knocked out of position. Hellions, they dive on in, but only 2 Hellions make it into the main base. Only 2, not 3. And as a result, we're going to take some damage, but not too much. Probes are going down. We get 5 worker kills, sorry, 6 probe kills. And barely one more volley goes off. 9 probes? That's okay. It's not bad. 9 worker kills, and Rob, he follows this up with a fast bait for fast Colossus production. Now, this will shut down any kind of bio push. If this was a 3-wax follow-up, 3-wax follow-up, then we would shut down any kind of stim timing. We can see that it's going to be a 3-1-1. With tanks, and even with a Raven follow-up. Now, Dolan didn't scout the Bay, but he saw the Robo. That is enough of a tell. That is enough to say that most likely you're building up towards fast Bay into fast Colossus. So Dolan, he has seen enough to kind of piece it all together. For now, taking a defensive stance. For now, he's going to be walling up. has his initial tank production getting up and running. Ravens on the way, and we are settling down. Meanwhile, with the completion of this bait, we can get into that Colossus. It would be wild and crazy if we went Disruptor first. Oh my god, speaking of, he's wild and he's crazy. Disruptor opener here by Rob. This is so risky here. The reason why Colossus is consistent splash damage, right? It's like it's a good way to swipe away and deal with fire pushes. Disruptors rely on your own control and your opponent's control as well. So very risky here by Rob, but he's going for it. Again, Pappy, we're going full NA. We don't play it safe here. Not in Cheeseadelphia. Meanwhile, we do get into the mineral line. 4 SCVs go down. We deny any kind of mining time as well. Nicely done. As we do fly a little bit too close to the sun, too close to the tanks. Volley goes off. We do come into the shade, getting almost another SCV. More denied mining time. The adept is cleaned up. Is shut down. And here comes that follow-up Disruptor drop. Now, there is no War Prism speed, so the Prism itself is not as fast as it could be, but we're headed for the mineral line. Here comes our first Nova. Oh, Disruptor is dropped in. Nova goes off, and we have a no reaction. 5 SCVs go down. Not bad. That's going to be 9 SCVs in total compared to the 10 probe kills of Rob. So pretty even trade economically, back and forth. It does favor Rob. Especially because the Disruptor is still alive. Oh. But the Viking does find the Prism. And without War Prism speed, the Prism is going to go down. Yeah, the Prism is going to be chased down. Massive pick off. Thankfully, we do say, oh, the Nova! The lift! The micro! We save the Viking. The Stalkers, they come in to reinforce. The Viking's going to be forced back. It will go down. Not a bad pick off here by Rob. It does save the Disruptor. Thankfully, does get away. Whew, got a very tense situation here in the center of the map. Very tense. We do survive. Likewise, Dolan is going for his push. We do not have Disable, but bearing in mind this Disruptor lying in wait, the flanking Nova. Uh-oh, Dolan doesn't see. The Nova, it goes off. Up, the splits. No split, massive connection. Oh my god, Rob, he's crazy. Does find the Vibe, does shut down the Marines, and he will lose the Disruptor, but that was well worth it. That was well worth it for Rob. He delays the push, and back at home, what do we have? We have a Colossus. We have Colossus, we have Shield Battery, we have Overcharge, we have Immortals. Again, Dolan is lost a little momentum, and he will turn back. He turns back home, and he's only going for a drop instead. So very nicely done here by Rob. Shutting down the push, and we have another Disruptor as well. He's crazy. Going for the double drop into the main. Not much in position. Not much. The Observer does spot the move out. And as Dolan moves out, Rob is moving in. Uh-oh. We could end up in a weird base trade, but Dolan's in a really awkward position. Here we go. Drop into the main. Probes are going down. And Rob, do we recall or do we commit? At this point, we have to commit, right? He turns around? What? Rob turns back around. There was nothing at home. There was not much at home, by the way, and as a result, he's losing everything. He's losing everything back at home. Disruptor. Sorry, Colossus falls. The Colossus, the Zealots, we depower almost everything. We deny Blink. And we force the recall, but it's such a late recall. The Rover's under fire. Oh my god, the Rover goes down. Hot pickup. We avoid the Nova. We drop into the mineral line. At the same time, the main army hits the 4th base, and Robbie's falling apart. It's being pulled apart left and right. Dolan, he's all over him. Despite the amazing start that Rob had with worker damage, with the Nova on the main army. Here, under pressure, unable to keep up. And tanks are pushing forward. Big connections here with the Stalkers. There's no Blink. And massive Widowmine shots. The Nova's not too bad. But that's a kill on the 3rd base. Ay, ay, ay. Do shut down the 3rd. And now we can drop into the main. And there's nothing here. Okay, calm down. Never mind. Jumping within range of the Cyber Core. Again, Blink still not being researched. Nova goes up. Takes 2 Novas to kill a tank. Does take 2 Novas. That's a kill on the Cyber Core. Massive pick off. Behind this, 3rd CC's on the way. Liberator production has begun. Dolan, he's done enough. He's done more than enough at this point. As he's still pushing forward, getting within range with a natural. There is still that one disruptor. And the disruptor's been good, but it's not that good. Scareways are pulling left and right. Blink, repowered, has begun once again. But at this point, it's too little too late. Massive tank volleys going off. Rob up against the wall, and I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was gonna start with a Rob win. He was popping off. It was crazy. I'm in shock. Third base being taken, taking the forward third to keep the pressure up. To just rally across the map, and we're just choking Rob out. Edging ever closer. Nova goes up, takes down Marines, but the freedom is here. Liberation has arrived. And Rob is being forced further and further back towards his main. That's a lot of Marauders. That's purely Marauder. My god. Here goes LC dive in. Overcharge gets popped. And then Nova will connect. Massive connection on the Marauders. Once again, Rob, his connections have been on point. And Dolan is forced to back off. Rob's holding. He's barely holding on back. That disruptor's still alive, but we drop in towards the natural. Tank sieges up. Vikings going ham with the Colossus. And limited anti-air. Colossus are in danger. Nova goes off. Oof. Takes down some of those Marauders. Colossus being chased down. Down to one Colossus left. Dolan still rallying across the map. Third base about to be spotted. Still a very chaotic game. I'm impressed that Rob's been able to hold on for as long as he has. But he's still on the back foot. And we still have no good answer to these Liberators. Still no good answer. We have 2 Blink Stalkers. That's our anti-air. 2 Blink Stalkers and an Archon. Goes off. Gets a mine. And GG gets called. The writing was on the wall, and Dolan takes game number 1. Oh my god. GG. Dolan bouncing back after a brutal start to the game there, with economic damage, of course, with the Widowmine, with the Disruptor Shot going off as well. We're getting a massive connection, forcing drop play out of Dolan. And when we got to the point where Dolan's army was spotted by the Observer, remember, there was an Observer parked outside the natural, and Rob, he saw the move out. And as he saw the move out, his army was poised to go into the natural. He was pushing in. It looked very intentional from the side of Rob. And we didn't keep pushing. I was like, base raid, right? Like, it has to be a base raid. We have to just push in and commit, and then we can recall later. But no, Rob, he kind of crumbled under the pressure there, and he pulled away. He waddled back home. But he was so out of position, and he lost so much. By the time he got back home, it was too little too late. He lost control of all of his bases, and GG. GG, well played. Dolan does take a lead, but it's a best of 7. And after game 1, I want to believe that anything's possible. I want to believe that we can pop off in either direction. Grace under pressure for Dolan is what I will say. Grace under pressure, man. Beautiful. Here we go. We're getting into game number 2. It's going to be on site Delta. Rob 4-gate blink next game? Most likely. If you remember, that's what he relied upon, and that's how he was able to bring down Epic for the most part. He relied a lot on his 4-gate blink, and it was very successful. Rob was just hyper aggressive against Epic, and it was hard to keep up with him. We'll see if that trend continues here. As we're getting into game 2. Again, we're going to be seeing 4-gate blink at some point in this series. We're going to be seeing proxy Void Ray at some point in the series as well. I'm sure of it. At least I hope so. We'll see what it's going to be. Let's go. I go to bed, light is casting. I wake up, light is still casting. Oh. The only thing you can count on, death, taxes, and light casting SC2. True, true. Smooch. But here we go. We are jumping into game number 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta. We have our American Terran player, the blue Terran, representing the Cranky Ducklings, as he's one of our own. It's one of the Ducklings, Pappy. It is Dolan. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Root Gaming, down in this series, but it's a best of 7. Plenty of games ahead of us. It is Rob. Oh, mate, Robbie, let's go. So we are going to be calming things down a little bit. Initial probe being sent across the map, as we are loading into Side Delta. Again, Side Delta known for its more defensive features in a way. We do have a ramp coming into the natural, which we can take advantage of. Can make use of here to have a little bit more of a defensive setup. Meanwhile, Dolan does fully wall off here at the ramp, denying the scout of Rob. What is he hiding? He's hiding an economic opener. 1 gas. This time, only 1 gas opener out of Dolan. He does hide his build, but his plan here is to go for a CC on the high ground, an economic opener from the Terran player. Meanwhile, across the map, Rob going for a gate expand. Likewise, economic opener out of Rob. The probe is being active. The probe is once again looking for proxies. We saw this in game 1. We're seeing it here in game 2. I don't blame Rob. Dolan has a reputation. Especially against Protoss players, Dolan has a reputation for cheesing, for proxying, for going for all-ins. What I will say, even though that it has been Dolan's reputation, Dolan hasn't really been too cheesy this day of StarCraft, to be honest. Like, we've seen aggression, yes, but never really too many all-ins or anything like that. It's been a very different Dolan this time. Oh, as we are opening up with a Rax expand into what looks to be 3 racks. Okay, very bio-heavy style here out of Dolan. I'm sure hoping that Rob opens up Stargate. And there it is. There's the 3rd racks from Dolan. So it's going to be 3 racks, a stim timing from the Terran player. On the side of Rob, we should be seeing a Twilight Council and Blink. Should be. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, once again, another robo opener. Okay, we saw this in game 1. We're seeing it here in game 2. Very safe play out of Rob. To reiterate what this entails, once again, this can lead into fast Immortal production and fast Colossus production. Now, that's what it usually means. We saw in game 1 that Rob went for a fast Disruptor, which was wild, by the way, and it paid off. Did pay off in game 1. We could try to embrace that again in game 2, or go for a more standard response and go into Colossus and earlier Immortal production instead. So we'll keep an eye on Rob, as he does get across the map with the initial Adept. Trying to get a read on what's going on. Natural base has been taken, and there it is. The bay is on the way. Tentatively, I want to say this should be for Colossus, but it's Rob. Could be disruptors. Could be. For now, we're building up towards that bio push, towards that 3-1-1. What I will say is that a Robo Colossus opener, I believe, is almost a hard counter to 3-Rax Marine, to 3-Rax Stim timing. Just because by the time the Bio Army moves out, Colossus are out in time with an overcharge, and they just shut down the Marines so hard. So I would want to see a Colossus here. I would want to see it. And there it is. Colossus is on the way. With the arrival of this Colossus, this Stim timing shouldn't get much done. We do have a lot of Marines and Marauders on the way, and Stim and Combat Shields are about to finish up. It is going to be a hefty army, but again, the power of the Colossus, alongside, you know, support like the Shield Battery, Force Fields, and the Ground Army, we should be okay. Should be okay. 3x in this map. Yeah, I mean, who do you think? Are you Cure? What's going on? Cure, is that you? The rush distance by ground is longer. On top of that, we have a ramp coming into the natural, so we have the high ground advantage. We have a choke point. We have force fields. Honestly, Rob, he is primed to shut this down. Like, this Stim timing should not get damage done. The only way we can get damage done here is if we miss the force fields. Like, if we slip up, if we miss the force fields, if we miss the overcharge, if we fumble in the defense, then maybe, but outside of that, Dolan checks for the 3rd. Scans the ramp. Nicely done. Does confirm the sentries. He sims in. The sentries. Late reaction. One sentry, both sentries go down, and there's no overcharge. The Colossus, though, it has arrived just in time, and it will force the army back. Whew. That was a crazy move out of Dolan. But we will defend. We will shut this down. Not a bad trade, though. Looking at the units lost tab, Dolan, he lost Marines for Stalker and 2 sentries. That's okay. We got more than we should have. Basically, if Rob had reacted in time, we would have force fielded the ramp and cut up the army and overcharged in time, preserved the units. Regardless, we hold nonetheless, and, you know, we're okay. We're okay on 2 bases, building up already towards a 3rd Colossus. And now suddenly, Dolan's in trouble. Now suddenly, Dolan, he's gonna be hurting here when it comes to the counterattack, when it comes to the triple Colossus timing of Rob. That's a lot of Colossus. Not just that, that's also a lot of gateways. Where's the 3rd? We should have seen a 3rd by now, and there is none. Rob, he's sticking to 2-base setup, and we're getting up to 7 gates. Did I say 7? That's an 8-gate setup. 8 gateways on 2 bases. We're moving out across the map. With arrival of this prism, 2-base all in. Essentially a 2-base all in here by Rob. Sure, we have a 3rd soon to be on the horizon, but Rob is committed. At the same time, Dolan's moving out. Uh-oh. And we could end up in a bit of a base trade here. We'll see. As both armies miss each other completely. Dolan's going for the 3rd, a 3rd that doesn't exist. Oh, does catch a prism. Prism goes down. And Rob, he's all in. He's committed. The tank is unsieged. Tank gets caught unsieged. We force field the red. We catch the tank. Boys are being pulled. The tank goes down. Massive pick off. And Rob is pushing in towards the main. At the same time, Dolan, we have to keep going. A little bit late here to pull the trigger. Every SCV going down. What do we have in the main base? We have nothing. Nothing at home to defend. We can't recall. We do. The Colossus come back home. Rob recalls. The drop comes into the main. We don't get much done. We get a pylon. We get a zealot. We get a probe. And Rob defends. And back at home, what does Dolan have left? He has 22 SCVs. Barely an economy. A very clutch recall there out of Rob. And Dolan, again, he did not get across the map in time. Did not pull the trigger fast enough. And with that, Dolan is committed. Now suddenly, Dolan is all in. Now what do we have to work with? We have 4 Vikings, we have 1 tank, a good Marauder count. If Rob fought out in the open, then I want to favor Dolan. But if Rob stays back at home, where's the shield battery? Shield battery was not rebuilt. That's a little bit concerning. No shield battery, no overcharge. The all-in has arrived. Can Dolan pull this off? There we go, tank is sieged up. Big volley's going to be going up. But the tank is going to fall. Vikings, they take down one of the Colossus. They take down the second. 2 Colossus go down. Uh-oh. There's 1 Colossus left. 1 Colossus remaining, but again, Robbie's holding onto the ramp. He does hold his own. And it looks like we just don't have enough bio. Yeah, there's not enough Marines, not enough Marauders. We shut down the Vikings. And Rob holds. Rob does hold. Dolan trying to drag the army within tank range. Gets a shot off. Just the 1. And Dolan is still completely all in. Decent tank volleys going off. Oh! Oh my god. Colossus does overextend, but does not take any hull damage. Whew. Risky move there by Rob. Does save the Colossus. Behind this, still no shield battery, which is still concerning to me. That we are lacking that kind of defensive setup, but, I mean, so far we're holding our own so far. I mean, Rob, he's surviving. Taking a 3rd base. Rocks are being knocked down. Dolan distracting the main army, dropping into the main. And we're headed towards the 3rd. Not bad. We do take down 2 of those Stalkers. 3 Stalkers even. Very efficient trade here by Dolan, forcing the recall. And can we deny +1? It's going to be close. We do deny it. +1 barely doesn't finish. And now we're headed for the 3rd. There's only 1 Stalker. Not enough anti-air. Liberators do siege up. Yeah, big shots going off, and the Colossus is exposed. Or is it? Yeah, it looks like we have plenty of Zealots. We try to rotate around. We're going for the dive. We're going for the Colossus. We do bring it down. Not a bad pickup. Dragging the army within Liberator range. Nice movement here out of Dolan. Bobby. He's cleaning this up. He shuts down the army, cleans up the Zealots and the Colossus. And what do we have left? No more Colossus. We have a Disruptor. True. We have a Nova. We have a Nova. Very nice control here from Dolan. The third and the fourth Liberator has arrived. And Blink isn't done. Blink is not done yet. Nova goes off. Ooh, connects with the tank, but it takes 2 Novas. And we mule. We're repairing. We repair the tank. Dolan, can we pull this off? He's pushing in. Yeah, Blink finishing up just now, but we bleed off 4 Stalkers. Yeah, massive loss there for Rob. He's being chased down. We chase down the Stalkers. They're falling one after the other. We're down to 6. 6 Stalkers left. Oh my god, down to 5. GG gets called and Dolan. He pulls it off. He takes a 2-0 lead. GG, Dolan was dead. It was over. How? Oh my god. Dolan was down to 1 base economy, 22 SCVs. He was up against 3 Colossus. He was up against 3 Colossus. He was up against a massive army, and somehow, some way, he's crazy. Oh my god. You know what it was? It was, I mean, there were a lot of really good moments. Like, Dolan was trading so efficiently. He was popping off. He was on fire, trading as hard as he could with his bio army. But what was impressive was the fight at the third base, right? With the Liberators, with how he was able to rotate and bypass the Zealots, dive on top of the Colossus, drag the army within Liberator range as well. That was a wild setup. That was a wild fight from Dolan. It was crazy. Oh my god. Boppy, calm down. Oh my god. Just some insane fights out of Dolan. And some rough positioning there from Rob. He was caught out of position multiple times, forced to recall, just pulled apart when it came to his army, of course. And Dolan, sorry, I have to update the out-of-game score there, but yeah, he takes a 2-0 lead. And I'll be honest, both in Game 1 and in Game 2, I was favoring Rob. Like, in both games, Rob had his moments. Especially here in Game 2, Rob was ahead straight up. He was in a commanding position, but Dolan just refuses to give up time and time again. He sticks with it. Never give up, never surrender, Papi. Oh my god, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Goldenora, we have our blue Terran player representing the Cranky Ducklings, leading the series 2-0. It's still best of 7, still more games ahead of us. It's first to 4 wins. But he's that much closer. It is Dolan. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player, the yellow Protoss representing Root Gaming down in this series. Going for the proxy. Send it, Papi. Let's go. It is Rob. Here we go. Rob, if we can't take it to a longer game, if we can't take down the Terran in a longer macro game, we're setting up with the proxy gates instead. Let's go. The gateway has been thrown down. Dolan back at home going for a double gas opener. This is going to be more ideal for Dolan. Double gas leads into a faster factory. Delayed CC here for Dolan does mean into faster Cyclone production, faster Helium production. We'll see what Rob goes for in the back line. Is it just the 1 proxy gateway is what I'm curious about. Oh, as we get an SCV. Very nice. Good pickoff here already here for Rob. Takes down a worker. Does impact the economy, going for a second SCV as well. Behind this gateway is done, and going for our initial Zealot. Cybercore's on the way back at home. Are we feeling... I'm curious. I mean, the probe is trapped in the main. I was gonna say, are we feeling something like a Stargate follow-up, but there's no second probe. So there's no proxy potential here. First Zealot is out, second Zealot's on the way. Probe still being a nuisance, almost getting another SCV. Workers are getting low, but the Reaper has arrived. We shut down the probe, and there was no SCV scout. No SCV scout from Dolan, so he's now moving out across the map with the Reaper. As he moves out, Zealots can move in. And does Dolan go for the CC on the low ground or the high ground? That is the question. It's going to be on the low ground. Which means the base is exposed. Which means as the Zealots move in, they're looking for a cancel. They're looking for a cancel on the command center. Yeah, Rob is expanding. And the Zealots, they have arrived. So a really strong start here for Rob. There we go, we force a cancel. Big delay in the expansion. There's a shield battery back at home. The Reaper does nothing. Stalker has arrived, and Dolan, he's in trouble. Straight up. He's in trouble right now. SCV is being forced back. The Cyclone's on the way, but we need time. We do need to buy time here. Forcing out more boys. SCV goes down. Marines are getting low. So far, we do quite well. Oh my god. So we force back the army. CC on the high ground. And we bought enough time. We're holding. We are holding on. God, one Marine goes down. But we are holding on. Cyclone has arrived, and Dolan does defend. Do we get another Marine? Oh, we do. Second Marine falls. We get the lock on the Zealots, not on the Stalker. It's going to be a rough trade for Dolan. Loses the Cyclone. Yeah, that was a rough lock on. Rob still trading very nicely. Honestly, really good control. Picking off the weakened Marines, sniping the Cyclone. And we're following this up with the Twilight Council, and it's going to be one thing, right? It's going to be one thing and one thing only. 4-gate blink. Give us the gateway. There they come. There they are. That's going to be the 3rd gateway for the time being, and we're waiting for the 4th. Again, Rob is being the aggressor. There it is. Well, Robo's on the way. Not quite a 4th gateway yet. Not yet, as the Robo is in production. Behind this, Dolan getting into tank production behind this. Tanks into Banshee. Do we go Banshee or Raven? What is our answer? Stalkers are warping in. Reaper goes for the dive. We got eyes on the tech lab. Sorry, the Twilight Council on the tech. I meant to say. And Dolan is going for Cloak Banshees. Now, Cloak Banshees can do well here, especially if there's no detection. They can do well just supporting the main army and going for harassment as well. And we'll see if we can pull this off. So Reaper is shut down. Dolan breaks out. The tank is under fire. A massive pickoff. The tank goes down. Ay, ay, ay. And this is just going from bad to worse for Dolan. We kite back. We shave off so many Marines. Going for an aggressive warp in. And this looks like the game to bounce back for Rob. We'll beat out a Stalker. I mean, every game so far, Rob has been looking ahead at times. True, but I mean, here he has a solid lead. Shutting down so many Marines. Big delay here on the expansion. Stuck on one base. Behind this, Rob taking a 3rd. Dolan hasn't even expanded. Rob just being so greedy behind this and getting away with that greed as well. Is getting away with it. The Banshee was revealed. So we do have observers on the way. One observer moving out, the other observer, I imagine, staying back at home. And Dolan is going for a desperation move. He's going for the double Banshee across the map. As I say that, the base is under fire. Banshees are moving out, but the base itself, yeah, with no mining, we dive on the tank. Dive on the tank goes down. Dolan, he's barely holding on. His hope here would be to force a recall. That is the idea. The ideal. Bunker goes down. More Marines and SCVs falling. Going for the CC. Banshees have arrived. But we have our detection. We have a defensive warp in. And the Banshees are being zoned away. We do get 6 probes, which is nice, but yeah, the Banshees are shut down. And Dolan still contained to 1 base. And how can Dolan bounce back here? I mean, if there's no detection, then maybe the Banshees can get some damage done across the map. Even here as well, we dive on the tanks once again. No fear here for Rob. Sometimes we should have fear, but it's worth it. We take out every single tank. 2 more tanks go down. GG gets called. The writing was on the wall, and Rob finally does it. He bounces back, putting a point on the board. Putting a point here in the finals. Let's go. GG, well played. A very chaotic start here, but a lot more ideal for Rob. Again, he was able to deny the expansion, able to contain Dolan, able to snipe the initial Cyclone, and very quickly snowballed out of control. A very solid game there out of Rob. And have the turns tabled. You know, Rob, has he finally gained the momentum he needs to fight back and tie up the series? At least it's not one-sided. At least it's not a 4-0. That's what I'm at least happy for. Let's go. As Rob does take game number 3. Now we have a back and forth. Let's go. Let us go. We're getting ready for game 4. Dolan still needs 2 wins to win the series. 2 wins to take the series. Rob still has quite a road to travel here, but has taken that first step. Has already taken that first step here. So we are getting ready for that next game. We're holding on, Pappy. We're holding on. We can do this. Again, it's been a long event, and that's another important thing to bear in mind when it comes to these big LAN events and these offline tournaments. It is also an endurance test. We've been live for 9.5 hours, and it's not just us casting, but our players have been playing for most of that as well. There've been a couple of breaks here and there for food, that's true, but it's been a very intense day for both Dolan and Rob. Playing all day. And can they maintain themselves as we're getting into our next game? We're going to be loading into Alcyone for game number 4. Let's go. Let us go. Holy crap, they've been grinding, Poppy. All over each other. And we've been watching. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our American turn player still ahead, still with a lead in this series, but is being forced into a back and forth. Can he bring it back? Representing the Cranky Ducklings, it is Dolan. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player, the yellow Protoss, representing Root Gaming, fighting back in the last game. And can we make a series out of this? Can we tie things up? It is Rob. We go. Good. Don't forget, posture check in the chat. Don't forget to posture check and stretch and look after yourselves. Hydrate, drink plenty of water. As we are settling in. Dolan once again going for a double gas opener. Double gas here from Dolan. Likewise, getting ready to prepare against that probe. Does fully wall off. Goes down the depot in time and will zone Rob out of the main. Does keep him out, and now Rob is in the dark. It could be an economic opener, it could be an aggressive opener. Regardless, Rob will not know. Back at home, going for a gate expand. No proxy this time, no cheese, no shenanigans out of Rob. Really, my eyes are on Dolan. Where is he going to take us? Where are you taking us? As again with double gas, leads into a faster factory. Rob is unaware. With this, we can head towards an early tank for an early tank push. We can head into Reaper Hellion, or even into Cyclones, or even a Mine Drop. Have a wide array of follow-ups here for Dolan. What do we go for? Reactors on the way. We can see Rob scouting for proxies, making sure we're on the up and up. Oh, make sure you massage your marinito, papi. Sí, sí. Massage him. look after him back. As the probe scout will actually confirm the CC, as the CC is close enough. Meanwhile, Reaper gets across the map, does threaten the mineral line. Probes are under fire, and we do get two probe kills. Not bad. 2 probes go down. Reaper will back the hell up. Ooh! So we try to juke the Adept. Alas, Rub keeps up. Nice movement. Nice movement out of Rub. Reaper gets the hell out of there. And once again, going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Rub. This time, we're done with the Robo openers. We're done with the safe play. It's time to be aggressive. It's time to be assertive. We'll keep an eye on the gateways here to see if it is once again 4-gate blink. We shall see. Behind this, Dolan getting into his own. Interesting. That is a second and a third Rax on the way. Do you see what I see? The beginnings of a 2-base all-in. What I'm referring to, no starport. Big delay on the starport, big delay in any kind of drop play. Instead, we're building up an early tank and early bio army as well. And by the time we throw down our starports, by the time we get our medevacs up and running, we can move out. So we can go for a big committed push. This could be an all-in or it could be a third. What I'm referring to is that when the medevacs arrive, we can pull the boys and just go for a 2-base all-in, or we can throw down a third CC and take a delayed expansion. Like, Dolan has both options available to him. We'll see what he embraces. See how aggressive he wants to be on this map on Alcyone. Meanwhile, that is a Dark Shrine follow-up. Oh my. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting here. So it is not a Blink-based opener. It's Twilight Council into a Dark Shrine, the Invisible Man. Instead. Bold move. We're going for the Invisible Man, and if we don't have detection, if we don't have scans, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Dolan is going to be in a lot of trouble here. There's no Raven production as the starport is delayed. Reaper Scout is denied as well. Stalkers, they do shut it down. And there's a lot of potential here in the Invisible Man. Here's a lot of potential. There we go. Dark Shrine into a bay. Just taking up quite heavily here. And we're building up towards a third tank even. Now what I'm worried about is when it comes to this all-in, I mean, perceived all-in, we'll see if we commit. We have an eBay for +1, just the one singular eBay, bear that in mind. It's on the way. Reaper gets shut down. Back at home, we have Immortal production. We're getting into the bay, working towards Colossus. Very safe play, or very safe follow-up here out of Rub. And here comes that Prism. Here come those Dark Templar. DTs are warping in. Here we go. We have our drop coming in towards the National. Do we have a scan? We do. We do have a scan available. DT gets shut down. Ooh, Prism barely does escape. Barely gets away into the main base. Gets a full scout of the production. But nice hold position micro there out of Dolan. Oh, we get the lock on. Look at his brittle. We shut down the Prism. We get 3 SCV kills. That's okay, but we needed more. We did need more. We go for the scan. DT escapes. Not bad. DT does get away. We're going to force another scan. We've got 7 SCVs so far. Shutting down the final Dark Templar. But this does delay the push, and this does hinder the economy of Dolan. So if we wanted to pull the boys, we are going to have that much less bio army to work with. And here we go. Medics are on the way. Tanks are on siege. A brutal supply block here for Dolan. And do we pull the boys? That's the question, Papi. Do we just double down and commit? DT waddling in once again. No third CC for the time being. Dolan does move out. And he's just moving out with the army. Okay. We'll be expanding. We'll be expanding behind this. We're diving forward. The Colossus is already in position. have our Colossus. DT waddling in as well. The army does try to sim on forward, but the Colossus, they stand strong. The overcharge is popped. Big tank volleys go on the Colossus. They're exposed. Oh my god. And the tank volleys are solid. The overcharge, they will barely keep the Colossus alive though. Yeah, we're holding. And Rob is holding on. He preserves his Colossus, saves the third base, and he forces Dolan to back off. And behind this, we don't really have anything. There's no third CC, there's no expansion. We throw down 2 more Raxes. Dolan becoming that much more committed, but that first push, that first wave was meant to hit the hardest. And the longer this goes on, the better it becomes for Rob, as he's up 20 workers. He's up 20 workers at this point, working towards disruptors. Oh my god. DT waddling in. Dolan rotating around. DT is going to be shut down. And essentially, Dolan is 2 base all in without pulling the boys, but like still very committed and very all in. Sims in the main, catches some stalkers, not bad. Forcing a recall. Do you force a recall? Main army's pushing forward. Headed towards the third. I am getting some deja vu, but especially with DTs in the mix, it's just so difficult for Dolan to really push in. So difficult. As we take down another tank. Dolan now throws down a third CC, but this is so late. It's so delayed. Such a late expansion for Dolan. Still has a comparable army to Rob. Not open army supply. Is going to rotate over towards the natural. Not a bad tank position here. Does rotate around. Trying to force a fight out of range of the shield battery. But they'll say collapse in. Yes, they'll say take down the first tank, the second, the third, and soon the fourth. Yes, they'll say wreak havoc in the tank line. Tank bullies going off doing what they can, but last we just don't have enough of a buy. There's just not enough Marines, not enough Marauders. Rob holds. Rob does hold, and Dolan, he's lost any momentum that he had here. He has a third base, but it still hasn't been morphed in. This is quite an uphill battle here for Dolan. Back at home, Rob is chilling, taking a fourth base, taking a fourth, taking up into Storm, so now he's not just reliant on Colossus, but now Storm as well. Diversifying his splash damage. And really, Rob just has to take it slow. Just has to take it slow here, slow and steady for Rob. Dolan is still trying to recover. Has taken a third true, but Dolan, he's pretty far behind here. Behind in workers, economy, army as well. There is a chance, there's a world where if Rob overextends, right? If he overextends, pushes in, doesn't reinforce correctly, and gets caught with like a fragmented army, then sure, I mean, Dolan can take a fight, but outside of his opponent making a mistake, it's going to be difficult to really win a fight here for our blue Terran. Here we go. Yo, I see Sal in the chat. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? It's been a wild finals. If you missed out on game 1 and game 2, mate, Dolan popped off. It's been a wild finals. Here as well, Dolan was hyper aggressive, but alas, the DTs did shut him down, and Dolan has lost a little momentum. That is true. Has a little momentum in this game, but overall in this series, it's been a wild back and forth. There's a world out there where Rob is up 3-0. Just saying. Just saying, Pat. Dolan out here grabbing his tent and sleeping bag. He's camping, Papi. True, true. We're pitching our tent. Pulling a Miguelito. Pulling a Vendetta. Tent is being pitched. I mean, that's all we really can do here for Dolan is just turtle up, defend, take a fight on our terms with tanks, with our bunkers, of course, as well. Is our best chance, but here we go. Rob pushing in. Storm is done. We break down the first bunker. EMP's on the go. Storm grazes the army. Not ideal. Does graze the army as Rob does pull back. Dolan, he holds. He survives. Soon to take a fourth. Fourth CC is now done. Who's finishing up? And we'll see if we can actually establish that fourth base. Storm is coming in! Oh my god, massive storm on the army! Dolan not ready. We have more where that came from. More of a zoning storm. Towards the end. Rob does rotate around. Does wedge himself in between the bases, catching SCVs. Rotating back. We do pick up some Archons, not bad. Nice pick-ups here out of Dolan. Solid EMP as well. EMP does connect. Colossus going down. We get one, we get two. Just barely not the second. Not the worst trade for Dolan, but Rob, because of his economy, because of the fourth base, because of the goal base as well, Rob can afford these losses. He can rebuild, he can remax. Dolan less so. Oh yes, I see the Vindicta emote in the chat. The 10th path. As with these Novas, we can just zone the army away. That's a kill of the 4CC. It's going to be a kill. And Rob, he's just starving Dolan out. Denying the fourth over and over again. That's all he needs to do. Deny the fourth base. And eventually he will overwhelm. Eventually Dolan will run out of steam. Nova's going to be going off once again. Good enough connections here. Takes down a Ghost, takes down a Marauder. Oh, massive connection on the SCVs. And the boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing for Dolan. Ugh, the Novas are brutal. Not again. No. Better splits. Very nice there. From Dolan. Does split away. Bleeding out more Vikings. Does bleed out more Vikings. And Rob, his supply just doesn't lie. Doesn't really move whatsoever. So quick to rebuild. As the army does collapse in, GG gets called. The writing was on the wall there. It was just such an uphill battle for Dolan, and Rob will tap the series 1-1. Whew. GG. We have a series. We have a back and forth. We're tied up 2-2, and Rob, he's really been able to find his footing here. We've just stepped aside. We've just put away the robo openers. We're done with them. Done for now. Embracing Blink, embracing DTs, finding a lot more success with this, a lot more aggressive style here out of Rob. None of this defensive robo play. Not anymore. We're done with it. We're done with it. And with that, Rob does tie things up. And now we're getting ready for game number 5. Now, as a reminder, best of 7 grand finals, so we still have at least 2 more games ahead of us. Could still go either way. We could even go the distance as well and go all the way to the ace match. Okay, we'll see what we get. I'm a little bit torn. Personally, I would love to see an ace match. I'd love to see this go the distance. At the same time, though, I'm also giga tired. It's 10:30 a.m. in the morning. It's 10:30 a.m. I'm giving it my all, Poppy. I'm giving it my all. Let's go. We have our map of choice. Going to be loading into Crimson Court. Let's go. Do you have Crimson coming up next? And our eyes are on both our players. We have yet to experience Rob's proxy Void Ray in this series. We saw it quite often earlier against Epic. We still have yet to see it here against Dolan. Is this the time? Is this the moment to whip it out? I want to believe. Here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our American Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing the Cranky Ducklings. He was at one point up 2-0, but now forced into a tied-up series. Can he bounce back? It is Dolan. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the American Protoss player, the Yellow Protoss, representing Root Gaming. Bringing it all back, despite being down in this series, has brought it back to a tied-up scoreline. Can we take a lead? It is Rob. Here we go. Whew. Again, we've had a much more aggressive outlook so far these past couple of games out of Rob. Has worked out quite well and is a little bit paranoid, checking for a proxy Rax. I don't blame him. Don't blame him whatsoever. Checks for the proxy, confirms nothing quite there. Going for the probe scout. And back at home, Dolan is opening up with a full wall off at the ramp. Gonna be a Rax into factory. Again, because of the full wall off, the Protoss player is gonna be in the dark. Rob is unaware. Rob is unaware of what's going on. And behind this, it could be a Rax expand or it could be a double gas opener. Rob is in the dark. Rob is going to be in the dark here as the factory is thrown down further back, just out of vision, out of range of that probe. Behind this, just going for a standard opener himself, going for a gate, cyber expand. Nothing too crazy out of Rob. Hello? Nothing too crazy. As a... Wait, what? Is this... Okay, I think we're just hiding. For a moment there, I was like, did we just like somehow wedge ourselves in a place we can't? No, okay, we're good. Just looked a little bit awkward. Probe is coming back in, Reaper's in position, and we just shut down the probe. Alas, we were hoping we could keep the probe hidden at least long enough for the Reaper to move out, but the Reaper was lying in wait, and Dolan does deny the scouts. Behind this, oh my, we have our 1-1-1. Thankfully, we're not going for one base all in. It's going to be a Rax into factory into CC on the high ground, followed by that starport. Rob has yet to piece this all together, but with the arrival of this Adept, we should get eyes on the building CC. So a nice scout here from Rob does confirm that there's an expansion. Pulling back, chipping away at the Marines. Gets one. One Marine does go down. A Reaper as well. And the Adept escapes. The trades here out of Rob, very nicely done. Gets a Reaper, gets a Marine, pulls back. Behind this, Dolan once again embracing very early tank production. Early tanks with that medevac should be going for a push. Should be going for an early double tank drop. So aggression on the horizon here for Dolan. Meanwhile, back at home, Rob opening up with Blink Stalkers. And how many gateways do we see? That's 3 gateways in production, 1 gateway already done. 4 gate Blink. 4 gate Blink Stalker out of Rob. It's time. It's time to do what we do best. And that's a Blink Stalkers, Bobby. That's diving in when we shouldn't, but still having a payoff. Classic Rob. Let's go. As Dolan is moving out, it does pull some of the boys. The boys are here to repair, throw down a bunker if need be. And Rob does spot this, moving out across the map to delay the push, to slow it down, pick away at the Marines. Well, the tanks do get behind the Stalkers, but we overshoot. Yeah, we do overshoot. Ideally, we did want to drop on top of the Stalkers to focus them down. And we're buying so much time. Yeah, even forcing the recall, we get 1 Stalker kill. But the other 2 do make it back home. Once again, Rob being proactive, moving out, trying to engage with the main army. Here's a moving out, chipping away at the at least medevac. Gets a volley off. Gonna volley off. Tanks to be sieging up, but we just dive on the tanks here. No fear whatsoever. We shut down both the tanks. We shut down the medevac as well. And Robbie's cleaning this army up. There's barely anything left. We have a reinforcing tank on the way. But the Marine army, it crumbles. Barely standing strong. And Dolan is still committed. Behind this, we have additional tanks on the way. We have medevacs as well. He's bleeding out too much. It's going to be another tank falling. Not just the tank, but the Liberator as well. And nice movement here by Rob. Shuts down the Lib. Is going to cost him some Stalkers, but well worth it. Get the trades here. That was 11 Stalkers for 2 Libs and 2 tanks. Of course, the Bio Army. And now Dolan is on the back foot. Being chased all the way back. Barely escaping with a Marine, and we can just keep going. The aggression does not subside, not from Rob. Bleeds off some Stalkers, but once again is worth it. You got a tank. Behind this War Prism's on the way. That's to reinforce across the map. At least until then, we're just poking in. Dolan trying to stabilize, but he's just lost so many tanks in the process. What does this mean? This means by the time the reinforcements arrive, by the time the Prism arrives, what do we have to defend? We're going to have 1 tank on the high ground, potentially a 2nd tank barely, but this natural base is looking so exposed. If the boys aren't pulled in time, the bunker is going to be focused down, and we can get more than just the bunker. Can it get the SCVs? And here we go, the Prism has arrived. Rotating into the main. Gonna be distracting the main army for now. At the same time, we break down the bunker. Bunker does fall. We blink into the main. We dare no fear. No fear whatsoever. We focus on one of the tanks, the 2nd tank as well. Boys are being pulled. And we do somewhat punish these Stalkers, but only somewhat. As, yeah, Robbie snowballing out of control. He's just getting so much damage done. Dolan forces the bullet waves once again, and we're bleeding out too much. Stim, it's only halfway done. Until Stim finishes, what can Dolan do? What can he do, man? He can bleed out Marines. He can lose his entire ground army here. GG gets called. It's far too much. And Rob will take a 3-2 lead in the grand finals. GG. We are 1 game away from crowning our champion. Rob needs 1 more. Uno mas to become our Cheeseadelphia champion for the summer season. And Dolan, he's up against the wall. He's up against the wall. He's a very strong start. He had a beautiful start to the series, but it's all just slipping through his fingers. It is all slipping away. And the pressure is on. 1 more slip up and it's over. We need to win this game to force the ace match. We're loading in to Ghost River. A very aggressive map. I would not be surprised if Dolan goes for the same build. I wouldn't be surprised if Dolan he goes for an economic start into an early tank push. He's done it before. We'll do it again. Shall see. So we are getting ready for this. Rob's on fire. He's on fire, Bobby. He took down Epic earlier. Now taking down Dolan. I mean, it has been a back and forth, don't get me wrong. But it feels like Dolan has yet to really find his stride here. We go. As we are getting into that next game. Into Ghost River. Max actually would have won already? No, Max would have lost already. What do you mean? Aye. We're here with the NA boys, Bobby. Max packs who? Shaking my head. And here we go. We're getting into our next game. Potentially the final game of the series. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our American Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing the Cranky Ducklings. He's up against the wall. One more loss. He's out of this. He has to win here and now to force the ace match. It is Dolan. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have a spawner. We have the red American Protoss representing Root Gaming. Uno más. One more is all he needs. It is Rob. Here we go. The next sim is always a risk, but damn, that was hard to watch even as a Protoss player. Yeah, I mean, risky moves there out of Rob. Did it pull it off? And now we're loading into one of the smaller maps in the map pool, known for aggression, known for some very aggressive plays, even all-ins at times. See Rob scouting the bottom half of the map, checking for proxies. Meanwhile, Dolan opening up double gas once again. Double gas opener out of Dolan. Now, where are you taking this, Papi? Where are we headed? Where are we headed? As the probe moves out. Alas, is denied the scout. We do fully wall off. And we are going for that factory. Meanwhile, back at home, Rob opening up. Oh, never mind. I was going to say opening up Zealot. And is in fact going for a double gate opener. Okay, 2-gate opener here out of Rob. What does this mean? This means Adept Aggression. We're going to get into 2, followed by a 3rd and 4th Adept as well. Very aggressive start here from Rob. And we still have that probe out on the map. But we are keeping our eye on, for now, just scouting. Just scouting, just making sure that everything's on the up and up. Make sure that nothing crazy is going on. Likewise, Reaper moving out as well. Not going for any kind of add-on swap. Going for the reactor on the racks. Hellion production behind this. Reactor Reaper Hellion. Haven't really seen too much of that in today's broadcast, but that's what it is. Let's go. Now, we could just cut Reaper production at 3, or we could build up towards 5. So we'll see how aggressive Dolan wants to be, and how many Reapers we invest into. And now, opening up Reaper Hellion, the goal here is to break through into the natural, to bust into the main, get economic damage done, and also scatter our opponent. We'll see if we can. As the CC is going to be delayed at FSA shade. Oh, they don't quite shade in. Just in time to do fully wall off. We do wall off. Additional Hellions on the way. Reaper barely not focused down. But that was a brutal trade here, bleeding out both of those Hellions. And as a result, Dolan is going to be stuck at home. He's stuck at home for the time being, waiting for an extra wave of Reapers and Hellions. Following this up with 2 more Maxes. I mentioned this before, but this could just be the beginnings of an all-in. It could be. As the CC's under fire, it's going to be delayed. We delay the CC. Massive pick off there for Rob. Back at home, what's the follow-up? Once again, 4-gate Blink. Blink is on the way. We have 3 gateways in the main. We have a 4th gateway on the low ground. 4 gateways in total. Rob once again soon to be active on the map. Meanwhile, Dolan does retake that natural. Let's get progression once again. Likewise, diving into the main, he can throw in the mineral line, but Stalkers are in position. We zone Dolan out. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, so far this opener hasn't really achieved what he was looking for. He was looking for scouting as well as economic damage. So far, he hasn't really gotten much of either. Just has not gotten much. As Dolan pulls back, is still just building up towards Stim. Stim is on the way, tank production as well. Are getting there. Maybe we do catch some Stalkers, but... I mean, and Reapers don't really scale amazingly into the mid-game, so whatever we can get, whatever we can pick off, we'll take. Go. Yeah, as we do siege up our tanks, just in time. Blink is now done. Ooh, but we do get a second tank volley, not bad. Yeah, big tank shots here to the Stalkers. Rob has to be careful, has to respect the army. No high ground vision yet, but we're working on it. Do we have a Robo? No Robo, by the way, going for another 2 gates. Interesting. So Rob is not committing. Again, because there's no Robo, there's no high ground vision, there's no way to blink into the main base and threaten the add-ons and threaten the tanks, of course. Rob taking a much more macro approach, expanding and taking up towards Archon production. Okay. We are taking a longer macro approach, and that does benefit Dolan here. Doesn't mean he can break out. We can break out of our contain. Pushing forward. Storm is being researched, is being prioritized. Before Storm can finish, though, here we go. Dolan's pushing. It is time. Dolan is moving out. Rob pulling back. We scan ahead of time. And Rob's in trouble. Rob, he's been focusing on his next step, on the third base, on his economy, on his tech, but not on the army. Do we have a shield battery? We have one. We have one shield battery here on the low ground. Storm is halfway done. High Templar, they can do nothing. And Dolan, he breaks out. He moves out across the map. The boys have been pulled. And we're completely all in with this. 2 base all in from Dolan. Just as Rob was being a little bit too greedy. Big tank volley is going off. Storm is finishing up in still 10 more seconds. And can we get there? 3, 2, 1, and we have one Storm. We have one Storm available, but just the one. Nice pre-spread there from Dolan. The Storm does connect. But it may just not be enough. It's still close. The army is heavily battered and bruised. The army's getting low. Third tank has arrived, pushing in. 22 probes go down, and it looks like we've done it. It looks like we have done it. There's just not enough to defend. There's slow lots on the ground. GG gets called, and Dolan, he pulls off the two base all in. Rob a little bit too greedy there, and we are going all the way to game 7. Let's go. GG, well played. I was so concerned when I saw the 4-gate blink follow-up, and I was concerned that that of course we'd see a repeat of what we've seen in the past, with Rob being able to break the defending Terran player, where he were able to push into natural, push into the main, focus down those tanks. But instead, Rob did not go for the Robo, did not go for extra warp ins or anything like that. He expanded, he tried to macro out of it, and we spoke about this before. Pappy, what is this tournament called? It's not called Macroadelphia. No. Cheeseadelphia, Pappy. Cheeseadelphia. Trying to macro? That's not going to work. Not here. Not in this tournament. Kappa. So as Rob was trying to work towards a longer game, towards the mid-game, Dolan, he pulls the boys, Pappy. He sends it across the map. And it all comes down to this. It all comes down to game 7. It all ends here on Amphion. Let's go. Let us go. Dolan been clowning people left and right. Been watching him a lot. Oh, so has Rob. You missed. If you missed out on the earlier rounds, I do recommend watching Rob versus Epic in the semifinals. And Rob was also an animal, absolute animal. Watch the VODs, Pappy. Watch the VODs. Do recommend it. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and I guess alluding to some of those previous series, I'm a little bit surprised we have not seen Rob embrace the proxy Stargate. We saw him rely on it quite a lot here today. Proxy Stargate Void Ray I'm referring to, and we have not done it yet. Do we risk it on Amphion? As a reminder, this was a map where Rob did go proxy Robo before. Fun fact, this is how Rob defeated Epic in the previous semifinals on this map with a proxy. Do we do it in the ace match? Are we that crazy? Are we that wild to go for an all-in game 7 Let's find out. Let's find out, Poppy. Is spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Amphion. We have our American Terran player representing the Cranky Ducklings. He was up against the wall. He's bringing it back. We have made it to the ace match of the grand finals one way or another. It all ends here. It all ends on Amphion. We have Dolan. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Protoss player, the yellow Protoss representing Root Gaming, being forced into the ace match. But this could go either way. Will it go the way of the Protoss or the Terran? It is Rob. Oh, mate, Robbie, let's go. Here we go. Once again, Rob checking for proxies. So far, we have not seen Dolan actually embrace any proxies in this series. Has done a bit in the past. And Rob is a little bit paranoid. Does check, does confirm, before going out with the probe scout. Meanwhile, Dolan, once again, double gas opener, once again, fully walls off. So he's keeping his opponent in the dark. Could be an economic opener, could be aggressive. Robbie's gonna have a hard time figuring it out. Let's go. Let us go. So probe has arrived, tasing away at the front door, trying to be a nuisance and trying to kill the SCV if at all possible, but the RNG is working well for Dolan. At the same time, Dolan moving out with his own SCV scout does confirm the expansion being taken, does confirm that there is no crazy proxy or one base all in. Is going to be looking and feeling safe and secure. Okay, they're bringing shots down the probe. Do have our factory on the way, as it was a double gas opener, as we did mention. And last game, this led into Reactored Reaper Hellion, which was not too successful. We'll see if we embrace that again, or if we go for something a little bit different. Could be seeing Widow Mines, could be seeing Cyclones, could be seeing Marine Tank. We'll keep an eye on Monsieur Dolan. We'll keep an eye on him. Across the map, Rob just chilling and settling into his expansion. CC on location for Dolan. Oh, and we're going for the add-on swab. Okay. I'm here for it. I'm ready. Going for the add-on swab, going for the Reactored Hellion. No SCV out on the map, so we're not going for anything crazy like a Hellion drop into the main. There's no proxy starport. But Hellion Reaper nonetheless. We are opening up Hellion Reaper. And the goal with this opener, as the Hellions will initially be scouted. First SCV goes down, we do delay the expansion. Yeah, CC is delayed. Second SCV going down, nice pick off here from Rob. Taking down 2 workers, delaying the depot, delaying the expansion. Supply blocking Dolan. Yeah, rough start. So keep that Hellion alive. But the goal here is to get into 4 Hellions and go for a dive. The goal is to go for a dive. Rob, for the most part, has slowed this down, has scouted this, and we're walling up. We're fully walling up here, and the likelihood of these Hellions actually getting economic damage is that much lower. It is going to be quite low. Now, even though the wall is getting up and running, even if there's a Stalker in position, the goal is to throw down the KDHRs to knock the unit out of position and to rush into the mineral line. Meanwhile, Stalkers are in the main base. They're ready for potential drop play. Here we go, Dolan going straight for the natural. There's a KDA charge. Yeah, we knock the Stalker out of position. We dive in. We go for the dive. We go for the mineral line. Probes are going down. 4 Hellions. That's more than enough to one-shot a worker. And probes are lining up. The body blocking. Oh my god, not quite enough. The Hellions, they slip in. But only 2 Hellions make it through. Only 2 Hellions. We will clean this up. But it will cost us 8 workers. Whew, that could have been so much worse. That could have been worse here. Thankfully, Rob, he was able to stem the tide, shut down the Hellions. That was 8 probe kills for 4 Hellions and 1 Reaper. I would say that was an okay trade for Dolan. Again, he was hoping for a little bit more, but is going to be enough to keep Rob back, as Dolan is trying to reestablish himself and saturate his 2-base setup. Behind this, we do have our 3-1-1. 2 more Raxes on the way. Raven production as well. We are going to be settling in. And now the ball is going to be in Rob's court. What I'm referring to is Blink. Blink is on the way. Now, actually, looking at the opener here, looking at the build of choice, this is not 4-gate Blink, this is 3-gate Blink. 3-gate link is just a very safe way to play. It gives you map control. It allows you to expand and take a third base and work towards the mid game. So a much more safer approach here from Rob. You can still be assertive with this, that's true, but not as much as 4-gate link, for example. So we're settling in. We have a game. Do you have a game here? Reaper does go for the dive. Reaper? What? Sorry, Raven. Meant to say does go for the dive. But there's a shield battery in position. We shouldn't lose any workers. Rob does defend. But now is probing up. Saturating his bases. We have a bit of a gateway explosion on the way. Getting up to 6 gateways on 3 bases. Everything looking as it should. And it looks like Rob is going for a gateway-centric composition. We're not working towards like a bay into Colossus or Disruptors. No, instead, Charge. Charge is on the way, going for a gateway-heavy composition. Just Stalkers and Charge Dots. Now, this will most likely lead into Storm, with the Templar Archives, Archons, and Storm production. That should be... oh, never mind! I was expecting Storm, but no, that is a bay on the way, not the Templar Archives. So, it's not going to be Storm as a splash damage, it's going to be, I imagine, Colossus. I say I imagine because Rob has been known to be quite fond of Disruptors, so he could go Disruptor first instead. That is an option. That is definitely an option here for Rob, but it comes down to what he does prefer. Whether he wants to take a risk and a chance, or whether he wants to be just a little bit more solid and secure. As Dolan is moving out with that double drop. At the same time is massing up Zomri. As the high ground is his tanks. Double drop moving out. And we did just mention it. Yeah, it's Disruptor first. Of course it is. Rob taking a chance, going Disruptor first, not Colossus. And we saw this can pay off. We have seen Rob, as we have another Disruptor on the way, we have seen Rob be very, very adventurous with these Disruptors, and the goal here is to hide the Disruptors in the center of the map and pop off with these insane Novas. We saw this earlier in the series. I mean, Dolan still did manage to take the game just barely. But it was off the back of these brutal Novas. Here we go, we have the double drop into the main base. At the same time, Dolan ready to move out. But as he moves out, there is that Disruptor waiting for him. Drop does come in. Disruptor getting in position. Never goes off. Up! Oh, no split. Massive connection. Oh my god. I'm afraid to look, but that was 5 Marauders, 7 Marines, 3 Widow Mines. I mean, some of those Marines went down across the map, but that was a brutal connection. And Rob, I believe he did lose the Disruptor, but that was worth it. That was well worth it for the Protoss. And that's what he does best. And I believe we have a second Disruptor. Yes, we have a second and a third Disruptor. He's going to do the same. Again, he just fans out his Disruptors, and he bides his time, waits for the opportune moment, and then he just pops off when you least expect it. Another Disruptor moving out. At the same time, Rob, he dives on the main army, shuts down the tank, shuts down the Widow Mine. And Dolan, he just doesn't have enough. He cannot hold his own, not anymore. And we still have that flanking Disruptor. At the same time, does go for the drop across the map, is getting some damage done. But Dolan, he barely has a standing army. The drop, it gets damage done on the Nexus, but not much more than that. Rob, he's looking to snowball out of control. Will bleed out a Disruptor. Disruptor does go down. So double drop does come back in, forcing a defensive warp in. Dropping at the third. Before picking up and getting the hell out of there. Distracting Rob, giving Dolan some precious seconds here to recover, to stabilize. Now I still want to give, well, actually, I was gonna say I want to give the edge to Rob, but worker-wise, like, Dolan, if he can get his third base up and running, he can recover. We just need the third. That's the thing right now. We need to expand. We need a third base. 5 probes do fall. Meanwhile, Rob in position, lying in wait. Our move is out once again. Rob was ready for this. He collapses on the bio. Oh, the mine shot though. Up. Big connections. Big connections on those zealots. But Robbie's going for the kill. He's going for the throw. Boys, they have to be pulled. Never goes off. Gets an SCV. Not ideal. Does get a worker. We collapse on the disruptor. Good pickup. And Rob is getting punished. We do get 5 SCV kills. At the same time, Dolan, he expands, takes the third base. And Dolan is recovering economically. Getting back in there. As we do see Dolan trying to chase this down. Drop once again. There's not really much working that we can work with across the map. Oh. That's Dolan. He's getting his base up and running. Has the high worker count plus mules. So Dolan can outpace Rob. Can outpace him here. But alas, I still feel like Dolan can't really take the fight out on the map. The Zealots, they collapse on the army. Medevac's so low. We're going to be losing everything. We lose 1 medevac and almost a second. Reinforcements have arrived, cutting back against the army. Ooh, mine just go up. Good connections here on the Zealots. Very nice connections. And the drop comes back in. 13 more probes. Oh my god. Mate, we're crippling the economy. We got 13, 14 more probe kills. Stalkers as well. We focus on even more workers as much as we can. 20 probes. 22! The target firing! Dolan, calm down at the same time that we're pushing in! Yeah, Rob's committed. Rob is committed. We have to push forward. Ooh, we take a mine shot to the face. Late blink. But again, Rob's economy is in shambles. He's down to 29 workers. No economy in the main base. Barely an economy here at the natural. If the game goes on any longer, it's better for the Terran. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Dolan. And Rob, I mean, he has stalkers, yes, but not much else. Yeah, bunkers on the. I like this. Bunkers on the way. We're pitching our tent, Pappy. Turtle up. That's all we need to do. Just wall up and stabilize. That's the name of the game for Dolan, but he's gonna chase this down. He's crazy. Doesn't need to chase this down, but he will. Takes down stalkers. Not bad. 3 stalkers go down. Dolan picking up, going for a Dune drop as well. Moving out across the map. Rob backs off. Doesn't go for his own counterattack. But when do we find the probe? Or do we find the drop? We do not. Probe barely does miss it. And behind this, we're getting to a field of widow mines. We're getting to ghost production. Third base getting fully saturated. Sensor towers on the way as well. Rob is in position. Oh, the blinks. Up. We have our blink stalkers and we do not catch the medevacs. We do barely unload, and the bio army will stim forward. We recall zealots, but we're going for the stalkers. We get 1 more stalker before pulling away. And Dolan, he gets out. He does cost him a medevac full of units, but does manage to get out. Oh, do we get another medevac? It's close. Oh, full medevac goes down. Not a bad start there, not a bad pickoff by Rob, but we mentioned it before, the macro. The macro's what matters right now. Dolan on 3-base saturation, building up a death wall of an army. And no more disruptors. No disruptors, no Colossus. There's 1 disruptor on the way, just that popped out. And this Nova needs to connect. If the Nova lands, we can hold on. A lot of the supplies in medevacs. Widowmine's gonna be spreading out. Mine shot's going off. Overcharge is popped. We have our Nova and it doesn't connect. Takes down Zealots. GG gets called. It's not going to be enough. And Dolan, he bounces back. And Dolan will be our Cheeseadelphia Summer Champion. GG. Yeah, Papi God. GG. Well played, Dolan. He will take it just barely. It went all the way to Game 7, went all the way to the ace match as well. And Dolan, he's our champion. GG. Congratulations, Papi. Congratulations. Oh my god. Things are looking dire. Not gonna lie, things were looking dire, Papi. Rob, he was popping off. Rob, he was down in the series. And Rob, he won 3 games in a row. Oh, there he is. Hold on, can we see him there? Oh, it's Dolan. Look at him. I think he's going to see Rob. He's going to see Rob on the left-hand side. Oh my god. GG, well played. Doll, can we get... I was gonna say, can we get an interview? I don't think we can. I don't, unfortunately. But GG, well played. Rob will take... Sorry, Dolan will take it. Rob had an amazing run, though. He had an amazing performance. To make it all the way to Game 7, to go all the way to the ace match was wild. It was insane. And, in the end, Dolan, he brought it back. Even in that final game, things are looking a little bit shaky there for Dolan as well. Yeah, I think they're discussing the match right now. Yeah, there he is, Papi. Dolan. He's talking to Rob. Rob is next to him. They're discussing the game. GG, well played. Este Dolan. Congratulations. He was feeling confident. Fun fact, I was talking to Dolan in the lead up to Cheeseadelphia. We have Rob here on the right. Rob is in the red shirt. For those who are curious. Rob is in the red shirt. I was talking to Dolan leading up to this, and he was expecting to face off against Epic. He was expecting Epic in the finals. He's like, yo, okay, well I'm feeling confident in my TvT, like I can bring Epic down, I believe. But no, it wasn't Epic, right? Like, a shout out to Rob, because Rob, he popped off. He caused a massive upset earlier. You can see here on the bracket, Rob took down Epic 3-2, and it was Rob, not Epic, instead. And it was a finals. It was a wild finals, a wild back and forth, aggression from both sides as well. We had Dolan going for his own all-ins on Ghost River. We had, of course, Rob opening up with his own aggression as well, not embracing the proxy in the ace match, but with Blink Stalkers nonetheless. And oh my god, yeah, GG, well played. They both popped off. They both did well for themselves. Of course, Dolan is our champion, and with that, I believe we'll confirm his seed into the championships. What I'm referring to is for Cheeseadelphia. There was Cheeseadelphia Spring. There was also this tournament, Cheeseadelphia Summer. I believe there's going to be a Cheeseadelphia either winter or fall. I'm not too sure what it's going to be called, but there's going to be one more Cheeseadelphia in a couple of months, and then there's going to be kind of like an end of year grand finals, where I believe the top competitors from the previous Cheeseadelphias are going to be coming together for, you know, an end of year rumble, if you will. So yeah, big shout out to Cheeseadelphia, to Nerd Street Gamers for making this event a possibility, for making this happen. Thank you so much, of course, for allowing us to cast it as well. We do appreciate it. For those that are curious, usually it's NA casters like Ravi, right, like Fear Dragon and Tempo. Usually it's Fear Dragon and Tempo covering events like this, but it seems like they weren't available here for this event, so we were able to chip in, we were able to fill in instead. Obviously, we weren't able to be a part of the venue live just because I'm in Australia. I'm on literally the other side of the world. I'm on the other side of the world, so I couldn't be there live, but it looks like a lot of fun. And hey, I was there in spirit through Dolan, Papi, through Dolan. GG. Shout out to our Duckling, of course, our Duckling. But again, a shout out to Joe, of course, for organizing, Nerd Street for hosting and sponsoring, and if you want to help support this tournament as well, I got you. Oh, hold on, I got to do the payouts, of course, the payouts. But if you want to help sponsor or help support this tournament, Matcherino, Matcherino in the chat. And you can get a link to the Matcherino page. You can help support the NA region and the NA scene if you wish. Otherwise, look forward to future tournaments. Look forward to the future events for Cheeseadelphia. If you happen to be local to the region or to the scene, if you happen to be like in a neighboring state, in a neighboring, American county even, I don't know what you then consider heading over. Consider taking the trip there to find some like-minded individuals, to meet other players like Dolan, like Epic, like Rob. Even more than that, I think it was in the previous Cheese where we had Vindicta and Jon Snow as well as many others. The NA region does come together, and I'm sure we're seeing many other faces in the upcoming Cheese lands. So look forward to it. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Fun fact, it was almost a 10.5 hour cast. Hold on, I gotta switch my scenes over. It was 10 hours and 22 minutes here on the Cranky Ducklings. Not our longest broadcast. We've had like 14-hour casts before. But it's 11 a.m. It's 11 a.m. in the morning, papi. Let's go. If you want some more Cranky Duckling action, I know there's Cheeseadelphia in a couple of months. True. But if you are unstationed, if you want some more StarCraft this weekend, we're going to be live. We're going to be live in 8 hours time. In 8 hours, this channel is going to be live once again with Sparkling Tuna Cup. You may be wondering, what the hell is Sparkling Tuna Cup? That is one of our own tournaments here. That is our own bi-weekly, sorry, not bi-weekly, it's a weekly now. It's a weekly open tournament. It features players from Korea, from Europe, from the Americas as well, from Southeast Asia. They all come together in an online weekly tournament. So if you're interested in some weekly StarCraft and players like Geralt, Cristiano, Nicaract, Nightmare, Honmono, Miyamaika, Eva, and many others, then do consider checking out our weekly tournament. Again, it's going to be in 8 hours time. Hopefully I'm well rested. I'm gonna go get some food and quickly get some sleep, and I'll try to get like around 6 hours or so, and then bam, back into casting. After if STC, if Sparkling Tuna Cup doesn't do it for you, right after STC, we're gonna be casting World Team League. WTL World Team League does typically go over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we casted Friday. We missed out on Saturday though. We missed out on today's broadcast because of Cheeseadelphia. Cheeseadelphia was actually clashing and going over day 2 of World Team League, so that is why we weren't casting it. Fun fact, there wasn't a single English cast going on for it, so I do apologize. There was no English coverage for WTL today, but we will be there tomorrow. We'll be there technically later tonight, but tomorrow for most of you, I'm sure, for day number 3 of World Team League. If you're curious what that is, World Team League, it is kind of like the new Pro League. It features the best teams in the world, the best players in the world, teams like Team Vitality, Basilisk, Shopify Rebellion, Mystery All Gamers, Team Liquid, Platinum Heroes, Berserker Esports, and many other big teams as well, and even some collaborations between some teams. They do face off every single week in WTL, and we're going to be featuring that after STC in like 12 hours. That's going to be in 12 hours time, so yeah. For now, I'm gonna go get some breakfast or get something to eat. Gonna pass the hell out, and we'll be back in 8 hours. See you then. Hopefully I don't oversleep. I am a little bit concerned about oversleeping. I'll set all of my alarms, and I'll try to be there in time. I'll make sure I don't oversleep. Otherwise, thanks for watching. A shout out to Zergburger007. Oh my papi, thank you so much for your support. Gifting subs, my apologies. Gifting subs to the community even. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs, for gifting them to I has burrito. I would like a burrito too. I'm jealous. To Coffee Good, to Der Internetzer, Dominats, and many others. So thank you so much. Hope you'll enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting as well. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. If you're curious, we cast on a daily basis, as you just heard. Sometimes we cast multiple times a day as well. That's just how we do here on the Cranky Ducklings. We are live more often and we cast more than any other channel out there. We take pride in that. We got the quantity, and we hope that you think we have the quality as well. Hopefully. We're live on a daily basis. Plenty of content. We also stream over on YouTube. We are live on both channels. We have Twitch and YouTube currently live concurrently, and our VODs are available on YouTube immediately. So check out the live tab on YouTube for those VODs if you are interested, if you want some more content. Otherwise, bam, exclamation mark socials in the chat. You can get a link to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, all things Cranky Ducklings. You can support us on Patreon as well if you're interested. Our Patreon specifically does fund our weekly tournaments. You can see just under Rob's name, you can see there that we have our current Patreon goal and we're building up towards it. But more importantly, above all else, Matcherino. Exclamation mark Matcherino for Cheeseadelphia. Check it out, support him. Follow Nerd Street Gamers. All things Cheeseadelphia. Time for bed. See you guys next time. Congratulations to Dolan. Shout out to Rob. And we'll see you guys in 8 hours for some more StarCraft. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.